The Wikipedia definition of the word autodidactic is as follows. Autodidacticism, education without the guidance of masters such as teachers, professors, or institutions such as schools. Generally speaking, autodidacts are individuals who choose the subject, study material, and studying rhythm. The etymology of autodidact stems from the ancient Greek words autos, meaning self, and didaktikos, meaning teaching. Simply put, autodidacticism is to have skills or knowledge acquired through one's own efforts without formal training, literally self-taught.
Oi, I'm scrolling on YouTube and I've come across this thing where they reckon that Perth was part of this global flooding of mud, and they call it Tartaria. It's from a YouTube channel called Autodidactic 2. I might have a quick look into this, eh? Certainly, someone who's self-taught is an autodidact. I agree wholeheartedly. For sure, autodidactics choose the subjects they want to study, and they're only limited to how much information they want to absorb, really. Campbell Purvis is the host and creator of Autodidactic and Autodidactic 2. His presence on multiple platforms and the amount of videos he has is almost impressive. The first video I watched of his was called Old Perth, Founding, Resources and Beer. Well, by now, not only did his channel name catch my eye, but his video titles piqued my interest. Let's have a look into the weird and strange world of Tartaria. Tartaria.
Welcome to 2021. We're definitely going to make this one a lot better than 2020. It's time to take back control. We can all see what's going on.
He commences his video with the usual greetings, but within a minute he begins selectively choosing words to craft a specific storyline. This is how he does it. He displays images of structures erected later in the era and narrates the events from a historical standpoint that occurred 2 to 3 decades earlier.
This video is more about what has happened in the past, and today I wanted to have a look at my own town, Perth, Western Australia, I think, is when it was found. And the story is they basically came up the river, the Swan River, and there was nothing here.
Not going to disagree with that one.
Nothing. They did not know where the clay was.
No, they didn't.
They didn't know where the lime was to make cement.
Again, bit hard to argue with that one.
They didn't have any industry.
And this is the extent of self-learning, hey?
Of course, there were lots of trees, but they didn't have lumber mills. They didn't necessarily have, they would have had to bring all their saws, all their machinery, circular saws, milling equipment in just to get the trees milled.
Yep, that's exactly what they did. And this is an inventory list of one person from one of the first ships that came in.
And that would have taken quite a while, because when they founded Perth, it wasn't with thousands and thousands of people. It was with a couple of hundred.
914 to be exact.
Basically, yeah, they just rocked up, 1829, and they didn't have any people. And as you read, they didn't have convicts. They didn't actually get convicts in Western Australia.
Yeah, they did in a kind of a way, in the form of indentured labour.
Wikipedia defines indentured servitude as a form of labour in which a person is contracted to work without salary for a specific number of years. The contract, called an indenture, may be entered voluntarily for purported eventual compensation, debt repayment, or it may be imposed involuntarily as a judicial punishment.
So they did, bring them in.
Yes, they kind of did.
And it says here the new colony developed on 2 sites. Port town was Fremantle. Perth itself was founded August 21. Oh, I've got a different date for that, but it was 1829. To mark the event, a tree was cut down on the site of Kings Park. Of course, when you're going to found something, you may as well kill some nature.
Oh boy, we haven't even got to his intro yet.
Perth itself was founded August 21. What? Oh, I've got a different date for that. What? August 21. What? Oh, I've got a different date for that.
Back to it then. He was reading from a website and asserted that the article's dates differ from his known facts, then dismissively scoffs, implying that the historical date presented is incorrect.
The same story we get all around the world with this, colonisation. And that word, colonisation, it's not really a mammalian word, is it? I mean, what mammals colonise, apart from some strange humans? Insects colonise.
From here, this is where it seems he is advancing an agenda to undermine our established historical truths and to introduce his story. Anyway, he waffles on about insects and mammals for a bit, then reverts back to reading from another website verbatim. He's about to launch into the main topic of the video. Here we go.
Okay, the Old Swan Brewery. Now this is quite a landmark in Perth. It was very famous. Well, it's always been famous. It used to have lights on it, and then when Alan Bond won the America's Cup in 1983...
He starts off with a bit of modern history, and you just got to wonder where this is going to go.
He actually owned the Old Swan Brewery. He owned, the Swan Brewery, as it was called, and it sort of came back into the spotlight.
He goes on reading directly from a site verbatim to reiterate that he's reading directly from a history book or something, stopping periodically to chuck in his 20 cents worth.
So it says the first buildings at the Swan Brewery were erected in 1838. 1838, so let's remember, they turned up on the banks of the Swan River just 9 years earlier with nothing.
Nothing other than all the equipment and chattels needed to start a new life/colony.
And now they're building, you'll see what this thing looks like. For timber cutting and flour grinding. For timber cutting and flour grinding. For timber cutting and flour grinding. The first steam-driven mills in Western Australia. First steam-driven mills in Western Australia.
Did he just say stream? It sounds like he says stream-driven mills, not steam-driven mills.
Stream.
Yeah, I'm sure he says stream. If that was an accident, fair enough. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't.
The buildings were subsequently used as a tannery and at one time contained a restaurant used by travellers between Perth and Fremantle.
Anyway, back to it.
Okay, so the timber industry in Western Australia. I have searched for the Swan Brewery being a timber mill and found nothing.
You can't find nothing that says the Swan Brewery was a mill? The site you're directly reading from states the fact that it is...
For timber cutting and flour grinding. For timber cutting and flour grinding. Basically, at all. What I've found as the earliest timber production in Perth is in Jarrahdale, which is south of Perth. Today it's about an hour's drive. So you can imagine it would have been, a day or two, I guess, in a horse and buggy carrying lots of wood. And it says here, early interest in the timber industry had not been commercially viable because of the limitations imposed by short-term timber licenses.
Keywords here, buddy. Early interests and timber industry and commercial viability.
But it says here there was no industry. There's just no mention of this timber industry that they say was run in the Swan Brewery. But the other question is, quite clearly, that building has got a lot of wood in it.
By 1835, extensive logging occurred in the area of Mount Eliza until 1871, at which 175 hectares, about 430 acres, was set aside for a public purpose. Fact.
Where did all the wood come from?
Let's move on, shall we? Let's see where your research has led you to.
Yes, it was built 1839. I mean, come on, that's 32 years before they established a timber industry.
A commercial timber industry.
Now, the other thing that the Swan Brewery is made of is bricks.
The mill is made of bricks, and the photos you were showing of it in its early stages is made of wood.
Right, bricks again, Perth, they rock up, they don't even know where the clay is.
Now, geology isn't a strong point of mine, and obviously isn't one of yours either.
Let alone, do they have clay factories? Actually, it just says, oh, okay, from a clay pit as well, so they've even found a bit of clay there. Never.
They know what they're looking for, and it didn't take them long to find the clay. The pits were located at the eastern end of Hay Street, down where Queen's Park Gardens are now. The other pit was located at the base of Mount Eliza, where the old men's quarters were.
Where's all the brick coming from? All the red brick?
Whew, I think I'm going to have to make a part 2 with this. But before I go, here's a little montage to have a look at. See what you think. And thanks for watching. And thanks for watching.